2, 1. And we are live. Live. Let me just adjust my vocals a little bit there. How did that sound? We are live. Okay, welcome everybody to episode number 101 of the Average Man podcast. Big shout out to the late great Brooksy for that Ween song, Object. That was his jam back in the day. It's if you didn't pick up on it, it's like a love song written by a serial killer. That's the vibe. That's sort of the premise of that song. So he's talking about, I think he's talking about murdering someone, but he's in love with her. So it's kind of sweet, you know. Even serial killers have, I was going to say have feelings, but I think that's the whole point. They don't, do they? You know what I mean? He's a serial killer, and it's a love song to his victim. Objects. So episode number 101 brought into us by Wayne. Shout out to Big Brooksy. He died in 2013. He wasn't even 30 years old yet. He fell down a cliff at Carragini. He fell down Joffrey's Gorge at Carragini when they were away camping over at Easter long weekend. In 2013. He was the man. He was an absolute legend of a man. He was a lovable larrikin, a bogan that everybody loved. He looked like people would get nervous when they first met him because he just looked like an absolute madman. Big dude with always running a beard and a shaved head or some sort of mullet or mohawk or something going on. He had his own self-tats done all over him because he owned a little tattoo gun they used to get on the piss and draw all over himself, him and a few of the other boys. But absolute heart of gold, real good guy. And he died way too young, but he also died doing the kind of shit that Brooksy always did. Just being a nutcase, trying to free climb down the side of a cliff at Carragini. So, you know, when he died, his mum said to one of the guys who was there with him, who had to sort of wait till the police had notified her and then call and speak to her, and he was in tears about the whole thing and said he felt, you know, partially responsible because he was there, you know, not literally there because Brooksy was climbing out on his own, but they were all there camping together. And Linda's mum, Brooksy, just said, look, Trent, I've been waiting for this phone call for 10 years. I remember him telling me this like the week of, you know, a few days after. She said, I've been waiting for this phone call for 10 years. She goes, you know, at least he didn't die in a car crash or something stupid like that. So, you know, he died being a nutcase. He was sort of, that's how he lived his life. So, shout out to big man Brooksy. I don't know what made me think of him, but yeah. On an upper, he had a good life. It's all good. Don't worry about it. It's just, it's a positive. We're celebrating his life. It's not a downer. On another upper though, I'm in the new studio. I love how I say that, and it makes it sound like some sort of real professional outfit. I'm pretty much full time doing these podcasts out of the caravan now. So if you're watching the YouTuber compartment, what do you all call it? That's not a compartment. Anyway, if you're watching it on YouTube, I'll try not to get too fancy with my words and trip over my tongue straight out the gate. If you're watching the YouTube version of this, then you'll notice that I'm back in the caravan. This is my little studio now. I've got the aircon in here, nice and dark with all the blinds drawn. It's pretty good sound acoustics in here, I think. I'm sure you'll be able to hear people outside if the dogs start arcing up or the kids or whatever like that, but it's cozy in here. I think the acoustics are good. So this is the studio now, man. I'll chuck a poster. I'm just gonna stop stumbling over my own goofy tongue. I'm gonna put a picture of this up on Instagram and Facebook. Just a little photo of the studio where the magic happens, at a request from or a suggestion from a mate of mine, Stu, who's got some really good ideas for online marketing and YouTube channel stuff and how to help get the podcast sort of cracking when I want to give it another shove. But I'm still sort of on coast mode a little bit at the moment. It's got so many things on the go. He tells me these things I should do to help market this online, and he's right. Everything he says is right, and I should do more and more and more, and I'm not. But I'm sort of holding on to the hope that when we do get on the road and start traveling, that I can just focus on this so much more and be pumping out a couple of episodes a week, and then all the little bits and pieces I've been practicing and putting together over the years can start coming together, because it's so hard, man, to find time with the full-time job, kids. I'm doing the diploma now as well. Just been studying over this weekend, So there's a lot going on. But yeah, I'm in the caravan. It's now one less vehicle at my house, or object at my house. I sold the camper. Yeah, I sold the camper last weekend, which was pretty awesome. That's actually sort of what I sacrificed doing my podcast for on the Sunday morning. I went into South because I had it at the yard. I cleaned it up on the Saturday and took it into the yard, and so that was, spent a few hours resetting it up and cleaning it out and giving it a good wash over and fixed a couple of little bits and pieces on it that were bothering me. And then I redid all the photos and put a brand new ad up, dropped a little bit of money off it, and put a brand new ad up. And someone called me that night and wanted to have a look at it the next morning, so I went in and met them there, and they bought it straight out. So that was pretty awesome. Really, I just had to dedicate a bit of time to getting it up to scratch and fixing a few bits and pieces on it, changing the ad. The ad was pretty shit, I suppose, because I've had that thing up for sale since start of April, and really not many bites at all. So did a better ad, cleaned it up a little bit, and bang, she sold. So it just shows you, you got to put a bit of effort in sometimes, eh? So that was good. This weekend, I've managed to get the podcast in. I did even manage to get some study done this morning as well. A couple of hours in this morning while my little man and his mate were hanging out, playing on the Switch and on the iPad and stuff like that. In the other room, I got a bit of my study for the diploma done, which was super good. I need to really get on top of that. I'm trying to knock it off this year, so I've got a lot of work ahead of me. But it's been a busy period. As I said, I had a work course on Friday, Saturday as well, so that was most of the day Saturday, and then went for a few beers at the walkie afterwards with the boys. So to get the podcast and the study done on a Sunday of a weekend, so that's a short weekend for me, I'm pretty happy about that. And last weekend, we had, like I said, I sort of gave up the idea of doing the podcast and study, really, because we had Heidi's birthday party on the Sunday, and then like I said, I sold the camper trailer and spent a bit of time cleaning that up as well. And Heidi's birthday party was like a last minute impromptu thing because we were going to go camping this weekend now, but I had this work course on, so I just had to put that in the bag and come up with something for Heidi at the last minute, which worked out really well. She had a ball, everyone had a ball, it was low key, wasn't very many kids here. She still got super spoiled, so it worked out really good. That was pretty cool. And what else is going on? We're going to do the beach tonight as well. My folks are still in town but leaving tomorrow, so we'll go down the beach at low tide. Tonight's been a beautiful day, so we'll head down there and do a bit of the reef walk, take the dogs down and sort of see them off. So that'll be a pretty damn successful day. Study in the morning, took the two boys out to lunch at the Esplanade, which was pretty good. Come home, do the podcast, hopefully do a little bit of pottering around in my yard, and then go down the beach. If I pull all that off, that'd be a bloody mint Sunday, mate. So that's the idea. I don't want to go out with the folks for dinner anywhere. We went to the Yachty on Thursday night, and we went when they first got to town as well on a Thursday night to the Yachty. It's just a bit lame. Like, the food's rubbish at the moment. I don't know who they got there in the kitchen at the moment, but they even ruined a palmy, not Thursday night just gone, but the one before we went to. They've changed it up and they've sort of ruined their palmy. They've never got anything on the menu, at least missing 2 or 3 things off the menu. It's a small menu. Every time you go there, big waits for food. Still got shitty beers on tap. It's just, it's annoying to go there and spend your money, but it's at the yacht club. It's beautiful sunset there. Kids can run around and play, so it's kind of, I don't know, it annoys you. You wish they'd just do better. They're all over social media and upgrading their this and upgrading their that and their system and their, it's not like this. It's on autopilot. It seems like they're there trying to do stuff and run it, but they just, I don't know. They just don't know what they're doing. They need to run it better. Do better. You guys who run the Yachty, do better. Get better beers on tap. Like, you need a good 9 beers on tap. You need a few of the pale ales that people drink in 2021. You need some wine that people actually want to buy, not just scum that you charge them $40 a bottle for. You've been having a bit of live music, keep that up. More live events, like some UFC events and shit in the upstairs sports bar. That would be good. And fuck, sort your kitchen out, because we bring people down there, we spend money, we want to go to the yacht club, the premier spot. I mean, they're building all this marina now. You guys need to lift your game. I'm not even going to talk about the heady. that deadbeat dive of a fucking place that's not moved ever since it got bought. The Prindiville group have bought it, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. I'm sick of hearing it. Nothing's happened. It's still the shittest pub in town. So that's a write-off. Espy was good, I said, for lunch today. Went there for dinner once when my parents were in town as well. Had a good dinner. So the Espy is still kind of holding it up, holding it together. They've got a couple of decent beers on tap. Pretty good food, small menu, but pretty good food. Expensive, but you don't mind paying a bit of extra money if it's going to actually be a good evening or a good day and a good experience when you go there. So the Espy's going all right. Went to the Walkie, as I said, yesterday, and I went there last weekend as well. And yesterday I just had the pizza and a few beers. They've got heaps of beers there and a good atmosphere, good vibe at the rugby union and on outside. The Bledisloe Cup and the Aussies got flogged, but anyway, you wouldn't expect much less. But they're always pretty good, pretty solid. Last week I had a steak sandwich there. Best steak sandwich of my life. Like, hands down, best steak sandwich I've ever had. It was so good. So shout out to the Walkie. They're always sort of doing it. It's just obviously it's out of the way. It's so far away if you want to have a beer and then drive. And a lot of FIFO fuckwits go there as well. So that's the only downside of it. Doesn't feel like our pub when you're there, like local pub. So, but it is good. So if that was, if the Heady was run the way the Walkie is, you'd be bloody laughing, mate. But yeah, what else? I found something. It's not like it's a secret, but it's kind of, I'd forgotten about it. The cafe at the Pundy TAFE, the Cafe Bistro, they call it, at the Pundy TAFE, is bloody spectacular. I've been going there. If I forgot my lunch a couple of times this week, I just didn't organise it. And on Fridays, I normally buy lunch anyway. So I've been going down there a little bit. $14 for a full-blown cooked meal. You can have like roast meats there. You can have like curries. She does little like quiches. There's always some yum cakes and stuff like that if you're into that sort of thing. A good range of food. And the roast meat I had there last week was the most delicious roast I've ever had in my life. The meat was, it just fell off the fork, man. Just melted in your mouth. There was beef and pork, perfect crackling, just absolutely juicy and delicious. And had some wicked roasted root vegetables, should I say. And then this cabbage and bok choy bake, like instead of a cauliflower cheese bake. It was absolutely spectacular, man. So that's pretty awesome, and a good price to go down there and get a full-blown home-cooked meal. But yeah, I mean, I'm talking about all these options for going out and drinking, everything like that, and really I need to be doing the opposite. I need to be going full Scrooge mode at the moment, because money is I need to be putting my money away for a few different reasons. I just want to sort out the cord on my microphone here. There we go. That's what's going on there. For a few different reasons. So I got signed on the dot for the Ranger, the new Ranger. So that's signed, sealed, and not delivered, because Seaview Forward dropped the ball a bunch of times. So they're holding me up there, partially legitimate reason, but also just poorly executed on their behalf. Once they were so keen to talk to me and help me out and bend over backwards for me and be my best friend and all this sort of shit. And I know this is not news to anyone, car salesman, like scum of the earth, but they were so keen to do all this bend over backwards for me, call me back all the time, see how I'm going, speak to the manager of the branch. I didn't ask to, that's just who they put me on to. Until I'd signed on the dotted line, and then just crickets, like the organisation and the return of phone call and following through with things they've said they'd do. It's just been so bad. And when you finally get hold, because I'm harassing them. I'm like, you guys owe me a $70,000 car that I don't have. So I'm expecting you to be like, to keep the communication up with me and be like very punctual with your responses and just keep that level of service up that you had before I'd sign anything. And I call them a couple of times before they finally call back, the salesman who I've been dealing with there now. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. Really busy afternoon. And it's like, mate, I don't give a fuck about how busy your afternoon was. You owe me a $70,000 car that I don't have. I've got the loan taken out for it now, so I'll be paying the payments on it, and I had to take out my insurance policy to get the loan to come through. So I've got an insurance policy and a loan for a car that I don't yet have, because these guys said they could do a few extras on it. That was all too easy. Yeah, no worries. We do all that in house. We'll have that in and out, man. Within about a week. Blah blah blah. All this, all that. Sign the dotted line. When's the due date for this vehicle? When's it going to be ready? Oh, there's no 140 litre or no long range fuel tanks at all in Australia. So end of September before we can get that fit. Actually, first they told me there was one over east, and I had to pay an extra $250 freight to get it over here within a 2-week period to fit it. And I was like, why do I have to front that money? After a bit of back and forth, I said, okay, whatever, let's just do it. I want the car sorted. And then the next conversation I had, oh no, they sold that one. I think, didn't you secure it? Didn't we have the conversation and said, let's do it, get on the phone, tell them that we want it, let's secure it. So that got sold. Now apparently there's none left in the country. And I've done my own research on that as well, because I thought they were just, having me on. I spoke to a bunch of different companies, all the major guys and a few independent guys as well, and really everybody's saying the same thing. End of September or even October, before there's any in the bloody country, because all these nomads and shit are just in Australia, and families and people travelling around as well, all buying cars and caravans and travelling around WA and Australia, and they're all putting long range tanks on, and they're all gone, man. So I've got to wait like 6 weeks for that. Apparently there's a month wait for the wheels, which he talked me into, or the tyres, sorry, that he talked me into. I was happy to go with another brand, and he talked me into these Falcons, and then they don't even have them. We won't even have them for a month. It's like, man, you guys, it's all promises and everything's all great and gravy until it comes to deliver, and then, sorry, we don't have that. It's going to be 6 weeks for that one. It's going to be a month for that one. No, that wouldn't help me get the car up here at all either, so I'm going to drive down there and drive it back up when it's eventually ready. So because of that, I'm full blown in debt now, which I haven't been for so long. So I'm just going to put all my pennies aside, not go out and spend it on shitty food in Port Edlin, and just smash this loan off as pretty heavy over the next year, which is the plan. And also, I'm saving up to buy the canopy for this damn thing in cash, which is going to be pretty exy. I think I spoke about it last time around, about the rabbit hole I went down on the canopy rabbit hole that I went down after finding something for around 8-9 grand, tray and canopy fitted, and then just making logical steps. Like, we didn't want it to look like a toolbox, so that put me in a different range of category, a different category of canopy all like straight away. And then just small detail after small detail, and you want it to look like this, you want it to look like that, and then because you're spending so much money on a brand new car, you kind of need to go the extra step here and there to make it not be shit. And then the next thing you know, you are so far down the rabbit hole as far as research and specs, but as far as money goes as well, it's just not even funny, man. So, and like I said, I'm going to pay for that one cash, so needing to save as much money up as we can right now. So it's just going to be I never thought I'd spend this much money on a car, and especially on a canopy, in my life, but I'm resigned to the whole fact now. I just want to do it right and get a good quality product and a good build. And the more I look into it, look at YouTube vids of guys doing walkthroughs of their setups, and watch a lot of guys who are touring with their canopy, their aluminium canopies and shit, and how much better it is than a tub and canopy, fiberglass canopy sort of setup, or a wagon, or working out the back of a ute or whatever. Like, without a single exception, they all say it's a game changer. So I'm pretty keen to get that happening. That probably won't be till Christmas. It'll be organising it this year. As I said, getting all those funds together, ordering it, putting a deposit down on it, and they got to make it, build it, and then we've got to get back down there for them to fit it. So that'll probably happen over the Christmas break. We'll be running just a straight up ute for the first part of the year. Man, it's such a rabbit hole. You need a GVM upgrade for the car to travel, to sit and run properly, or to sit and ride properly once you've put that much constant load on the back of it. And it's just unreal how far down the track you can go with it. But yeah, Seaview Ford, bloody muppets. Like I said, they just don't give a fuck as soon as they get their sale, mate. So, and again, that's not news 21, but to have it, you hear good things about people like PMG and that, but then to have the actual experience,
and have a go like that is pretty a little bit shit. And you know, the whole already having the loan paid out to me while I don't have the car yet, that's probably, well, it's definitely partially my fault, but I'm a friggin' muppet. I'm an idiot. I'm just a chippy, mate, it's not my job to know these things. I tried to get the loan company to speak to Seaview Ford to organise finance and due date or dates of delivery and all that sort of shit between themselves and keep me out of it, so I'm not on the phone while I'm at work all day constantly. But they didn't want to do that. They wanted me to be the middleman and make it easier for them. And yeah, it was really, I didn't know what I didn't know what I was doing. No one asked me when I was getting the car delivered to me. I didn't realise at what point I was signing away the loan agreement to have the money paid out. So that sort of jumped the gun on that. And to be fair, like, that's not really the end of the world. You're going to pay the loan off. You're going to pay the loan off anyway. If you start paying it a month early, it doesn't really matter in the scheme of things. But just the point that there was poor communication between me, and then the CV4 wouldn't give me a date for it. You know, they fucked around, wouldn't give me a date till the last minute. And then even with the finance, I was going to go with their finance mob if they had a good enough deal, but he just never got back to me. It was a shambles down there. I would not recommend going through CV Ford. Just for the principle, I wish I went somewhere else, but anyway, I didn't. So, yeah, it's just been the bane of my existence, that whole back and forth between those two different companies the last couple of weeks. So much bullshit, so much work, man. Like I was saying, this is your full-time job. I have another full-time job. This should be way easier. You guys should be able to talk to each other. But they just didn't want to do it that way. CV4 didn't want to talk to the loan company because I wasn't using their finance, even though they didn't even come after me. Really, they didn't offer me anything. They just put in the too hard basket. And the loan company didn't want to talk to CV4 because they just wanted it to be easy and me to do all the work for them. So there was no interest for them to talk to the dealership. So it was just a bloody shambles, mate. And the lender that I originally wanted to go with RAC, they had the best interest rate, and I got my insurance with them already, and they had the best early payout policy as well. They wouldn't lend me the amount of money I wanted to lend because I don't have any loans, so I don't have a credit history for them to check, which is just madness. Like, you know, they want to see that you're already in debt so they can loan you money. They can't see that you've got money in the bank, you earn a certain amount of money per month. This is your outgoing. You've got all this, you know, you have this extra income, disposable income that you can use to pay this loan off, and you got to, you know, we have some assets as well to go against our name. No, it doesn't matter. They want to see that you got a home loan and you're already in debt before they'll lend you any more money. It's just like, okay, it's just madness. But anyway, moving forward, that's the conversations I've been having this last couple of weeks. The canopy though. I'm excited about the canopy. As I said, it's going to cost a shitload of money. I've been doing so much research. I've been obsessed with it. My missus is sick of watching me showing her different setups, and I'm on different Instagram pages and on different websites doing their builds and checking out all their specs, and then watching YouTube videos and all this sort of shit. And she's just over it, man, but I'm so into it. I'm obsessed with these canopies right now. The three main candidates I've narrowed it down to. TLX4, who are a Perth mob, who do a really nice canopy, but their build time will be like February by the time it's ready, and they're comparable with some of the bigger, more well-known brands who can do it a lot quicker. So probably going to lean away from them. Their system probably isn't tried and tested as much as some of these other companies who've been around for a long time and who have a name Australia-wide. One of those companies being Norweld, who are one of the top contenders as well. Things that hold me back with Norweld, I mean, they say that they can do a build within 13 to 17 weeks, which is a pretty good time frame. But their dog pod options suck. So for me, obviously the dog needs to come in this thing. It's a big factor for us. Where's the dog going to go? And they've got this full length dog pod door on it, on their dog pod canopy, should I say, a full length door with like lasered out holes all down one side of the canopy. So one side of the canopy is not weatherproof at all. Dust and water can come in at all times. And you only want a section for your dog. You don't want water to come in and dust to come in. And you want to be able to seal it off. And they don't offer any other options for that. So the other option was to do just get a normal canopy and then cut the hole in it myself and put a caravan window in that I've already scoped out. I've seen someone else who's done this. And then you're cutting into this brand new, expensive as hell canopy through the 2-pack paint and all this sort of shit. And, it just was I don't know if I'm that brave, to be honest. That, and one of the big killers, and this is just cosmetic, but they only offer the mill finish on like everything besides the doors, the toolbox and canopy doors. So what that means is it's just aluminium the way it comes out of the mill. That finished look is pretty cool looking. Doesn't not that it looks horrible, but I've got this aluminium silver coloured Ranger coming, and there's like no contrast of colours. It's silver, aluminium silver car, an aluminium tray, and then like some aluminium silver doors on it as well. And this, I've seen them set up like that without any contrast, and it kind of looks like a van or something. I don't know. It just, you're spending that much money in this bloody rig, you want it to pop when you look at it. You want it to look like a beast as well, you know. Like, and it just like, it's not like it's make or break. If that was the only thing, and they were the best canopy for me, bar that, I could get over it, but it's another factor to throw in there. The price is pretty good. They're comparable with all the other guys. Time frame's good. Their wiring package is pretty awesome. I even got the guys in town to have a look at it and see if they could match that wiring package for that price, and they sort of said, nah man, that's pretty bloody good. They do these all the time. It's a standard package for them. They do it at the build stage. Probably can't beat that. So that's all good. And again, well-known, tried and tested brand. You see all around the country. You know, Trip to Van guys have an all-world canopy. So you know that this is good gear. And then the third company who I'm sort of leaning towards, just as of Friday, I think, I looked at these guys at the very beginning and then went away from them because of price, but then I've eventually come up to this price category, this price point anyway, and hadn't thought to go back and look at them again. I've gone back and looked at them, and I really like the Mitts alloy canopies. Now, the pros for these guys are separate dog box door, which is one of the only companies to do a separate door for the dog box, so it's fully sealed, its own little compartment where the dogs go in, and it's got a panel that can go over it when not being used as a dog's box, so water doesn't get in, dust doesn't get in, and then you can have it open when the dogs are in there, separate from all your other shit, which is pretty awesome. Exactly what I wanted from the beginning. And then they do the not just the mill finish, they're like TLX where they offer all the rest of the tray, so the tray, frame, and accessories, your ladder and your jerry can holder and your roof rack and all that sort of shit, tyre flares, they offer that mill finish or powder coat black, which just looks sick. Norweld said that they don't do it because it can chip up and gets destroyed on some real tough off-road terrain, but I've seen people on YouTube videos who have these Mitts alloy rigs taking them through all sorts of treacherous terrain, and they haven't whinged about it chewing up the powder coat on it a little bit. So it's the black frame and tray and accessories with the silver aluminium painted doors and car will look pretty bloody sick. So I'm pretty happy about that. And the dog box, and like I said, I'm yet to get a price off these guys, but I have sort of an idea of the price point, and I think they're about on point with Norwell. So it depends on their build time and everything, but they could be the ones that we go for. I'm sorry if you're not interested in canopies at all, because I just went on about it for, I don't know, probably 10 minutes, but I'm just creaming it at the moment, and it's a big world that you can get sucked right into. But yeah, the Mitts alloy guys, the Blonde Nomads, have them, check them out on Instagram. Asventure, he's I think a Victorian guy, he's got one of those. There's another guy, Dusk Till Dawn Full Drive or something like that. He's another guy I've seen, a Perth guy on Instagram who's running those Mitts alloys setups. So it's good to see people out there using the setup that you want to get, doing videos of around their car. You can see it all in use and hearing them give a verbal you know, full-blown review on these things. It just gives you a bit more confidence in buying it. So there we go. And the wiring package is going to be insane, like full 200 amp hour lithium battery with gauges and sine wave converters and lighting kit inside and stuff like that. It's going to be a full-blown rig, man. So when I finally commit to it, there'll be like some build videos and all that sort of shit coming out to accompany that as well. Get a little bit how you going. I won't tell the audio people that. I'll just push through. I don't need that. Sorry. You YouTube guys, you know me way better than the audio guys. I'll tell you that. You see all the weird shit I do. I edit this shit out. I got no idea. No idea. Alright. Oh, let's go. We'll get through this. I'll just play it cool. So, yeah, man, went down the rabbit hole on that. Not much else going on. Fire pit last night. I didn't go to bed too late, which was good because I've had a few fire pit evenings that have blown out to like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, drinking whiskey and rum and all sorts of shit. Just buckles me for the next day completely. So last night wasn't one of those, which was good. Had a couple of mates who said they were going to come around and never presented, so that was for the best. That was for the best in the end. What else going on? We got this big mob from the Western Desert visiting, living up the road from us at the moment, where I live, and they've been running amok. They've been running amok. Stole some booze out of our fridge last week. Tried to steal my neighbour's fishing rods. Tried to break into the other neighbour's caravan. Just running amok, just walking down the street, scoping everyone's yards and shit like that. And yeah, all the neighbours have been on this messenger thing, talking to each other about what's been going on, keeping updated. Everyone's been putting in reports to Department of Housing and the cops and everything like that. So we're all kind of building up a case against them, because it's you know, it's so quiet where I live. All the black fellas that live up the road from me are all sound. They're all just doing their thing. Usually they're living right across from this mob, so it's probably pissing them off more than anyone. But when we get something untoward like this come in town, this mob apparently from one of the most remote communities in Australia, right on the border of NT and WA. I can't say the name of the community, but full remote community. Apparently they're known to be a real rough mob. So they're here just running amok. They came in like a week and a half ago and it's just been chaos since they got here. Hopefully they get moved on pretty soon. But I feel bad for people who are over in South when shit like that happens over there. They probably can't pinpoint it as much as what all the riffraff is and where the new trouble's coming from and everything, and it's a lot harder to put your finger on and sort of have any sort of result with it. But hopefully with these guys get moved on this week, because there's that many reports being put in about them, all on their case number and everything. So it's kind of, we're all in the same boat trying to get them sorted and get them moved on. So that's been a bit, yeah, I've been a bit worried about going out anywhere at night, leaving the family here, and I've got, you know, leaving any tools around and shit like that. Because, you know, they've been in my yard already. I had to fix one of the gates shut, so they've only got gates on one side of the house because I've been walking past and opening one of the gates and leaving them open, and then keeping on walking by during work. And I think the idea is leave the gate open so the dogs fuck off, so they can come back later and come in the yard with no dogs here. But luckily the dogs have been good and haven't gone anywhere. But yeah, come home and your gate's open. It's like, definitely didn't leave that gate open again. So that's pretty shit. But hopefully they're gone pretty soon. Speaking of dogs, the little one, the little rat, the little camp dog, Yandy, I've been feeding her a couple of days a week now since we got back from Perth, because she was just like, she was getting quite skinny, but also just her behaviour. She was quite unruly, and it was really hard to get her to listen, and I know she's just junky around food. So we're feeding her twice a day, and she's a different dog now. It's completely changed her personality, and she's sort of settled a lot, putting on more weight. So I probably wasn't feeding her enough. She's a different kind of metabolism to the dogs that I'm used to having. So that sorted her out a little bit. But she just shits so much, man. Like, especially now I'm feeding her twice a day. I've taken her off anything except biscuits, and she just does so much crap, man. Like big fists. She's a tiny little dog, and these big fists of crap that she does multiple times a day. Like, she craps way more than Lily, and Lily's 4 times the size of her or something, and she craps way more than her, and everywhere. She doesn't have a spot. She just shits everywhere, man. Little camp dog. And like, I took her for a run on Friday morning, like 4:30 in the morning or whatever it was. It was dark, and she was sort of lagging the whole time, and then eventually she stops and does a shit, gets it out. I was like, sweet, no worries. Clean that up, keep going, and then like 2 minutes later stops again. She's got another shit, another massive one, and I didn't have anything to clean that one up with. Does it in the middle of the pathway, and I'm like, oh, it's a little sloppy. I couldn't move it or anything like that, so I just had to bail and just run on and leave it there. Sorry, it had to be done, and like, yeah, I had nothing to clean it with. And I'm like, where did this second shit come from? And then like a couple of, like a K or something down the road, I see a dude on a push bike riding the opposite way, heading up to where the second stonker was left on the pathway, and it's still dark out. I'm thinking, oh no, I hope that dude doesn't ride through that sloppy shit and just throw dog shit all up himself, man. Who would be spewing about that. I was just sort of like, yeah, sorry dude, hope you see that one and dodge it. But this dog just won't stop shitting, man. And in fact, every creature at my house just shits and pisses everywhere, man. Like, besides me and the missus, we're the only ones that don't. We've got the puppy that still shits and pisses inside occasionally if you let her in. The big dog, who's on a hormone thing because she's got like leaky bladder, where sometimes she just gets up off her bed or whatever and she's dripped, like basically pissed, and doesn't even know it. Then my daughter, who's got this constipation issue, so she shits her knickers multiple times a week still. And then my boy, who pisses his bed. If I don't get up and get him out of bed in the middle of the night every single night, he'll piss his bed pretty much, like once a week, or at least once a fortnight. And then the cats, who bring dead lizards and shit inside and sometimes overeat and just vomit on your kitchen floor. So it's just, every creature at my house is just excreting all over the place constantly. It's so sick of it, man. There's so much shit and piss and vomit in this place. It's ridiculous. You're supposed to grow out of that as your kids get out of baby stage, but we're just suckers for punishment, I guess. We're just still in the cycle, man. Yeah. Oh, struggling, man. Funny in my guts. Oh, another 10 minutes. I'll wrap this up. Go lie down. Oh, jeez. Alright, I have to wrap this up in a minute. I've had to pause the potty a couple of times. I'm feeling like quite rough. Feeling like dog shit. It's been a dog shit. Segue. I'm feeling quite rough. Yeah, I didn't feel sick when I had my COVID shot the other week. Yep, I had the COVID shot. But I'm feeling pretty gross at the moment. And worried about that second shot. Everyone reckons that the second Pfizer shot's the one that really gets you. We'll see what happens. I don't know, I feel like crap right now. I was pretty cocky about the whole Pfizer thing. Prior to this, saying I think I'll be alright. I reckon my immune system's tough enough, it's not going to bother me. The way I'm feeling at the moment, I feel quite vulnerable. I don't know, maybe it will get me. Maybe having delayed COVID shot symptoms. A bit of media before we get out of here. The Headland Business Awards were on last weekend, which was pretty cool, but I think surprising to a lot of people, Bobby Lockyer was nominated for about 4 different awards and didn't win anything. I thought that was a bit odd. She's done so much, especially in the last year. You think she would have been a shoo-in to win one of the awards, but anyway, she didn't. On another note, friends of mine who've been on the podcast a couple of times, the owners from Ironworks Gym, that's closed down at the end of July or the beginning of July, which is beginning of July, I think, which is really sad, man. I didn't know that was happening. I didn't know that they were that gym was struggling, but yeah, apparently it just sort of wasn't working out anymore, and they had to close their doors, and they haven't sold the business or anything, so it's kind of, I guess, all the gears just sitting there, and the space is just sitting there. That's really sad, mate. Like, it was good to have some competition like that in town, and a family-owned business doing like the CrossFit style style workouts. But yeah, it's no more. So shout out to those guys. I'm sorry that didn't work out. I know they were really passionate about it and had a real good community vibe down there. Sam Cotton Cartoons. If you haven't seen this dude on Instagram, I'll tag him on my page. Get onto his Instagram and check it out. An Aussie guy just does like, he puts little cartoons on just normal videos and of animals and weird people and just makes them talk and interact with the video itself. It's hard to explain. It's quite funny. He's obsessed with seagulls and chips, but it's like dudes talking to the soap loofah in his shower, and puts like little faces. More often than not, puts little faces on actual objects and makes them talk and have conversations and stuff. But it's so funny, man. You can definitely go check out Sam Cotton Cartoons on Instagram. Jungle Cruise I watched last weekend. The big The Rock's latest movie with Emma Blunt that I was looking forward to for so long. I actually wanted to watch it down in Perth at the cinemas, but it wasn't out in time. I was looking forward to it for ages. Bought that for the kids on Disney last weekend and watched it. And it's like $30 to buy a brand new movie like that, which is sort of like going to the movies anyway, which we can't do here. So that's how I reasoned it. But it was alright. It wasn't great. Probably the biggest letdown of a Rock movie I've seen in a long time. Just a convoluted storyline, drags out. I don't know, I didn't really like it that much. Definitely not gagged at the bit. I haven't even finished it because I've fallen asleep a couple of times while it's on or whatever. But yeah, it wasn't great. Definitely wasn't great. It wasn't as good as the Jumanjis, that's for damn sure. And he's harping on about it, like on his social media, his Instagram, like it's going to be the biggest adventure movie of all time, and it's so happy. And he does that all the time, I know, but he's normally pretty good at everything he does. But it didn't really get me, that movie. Didn't think it was great. But what I did think was great, and I was quite pleasantly surprised by it, was Mortal Kombat. The latest Mortal Kombat's out. I watched that, I think, last weekend as well, or during the week maybe. And I kind of thought it was going to be probably pretty B grade, but it looks cool anyway. And it's Mortal Kombat. It's our youth from you got to watch this stuff and just see what it's like, and just put it in the bag. So yeah, did that, watched it, but it was actually bloody awesome, man. The action and fight scenes are wicked. Heaps, like hell violent. It's R-rated movie, so you can't watch it with the kids or anything. Hell violent. Cool storyline. There's an Aussie dude who's like a real badass guy in it. He's pretty cool. Funny, like there's some funny dialogue and stuff in it. The acting's obviously, no one's winning an Oscar or anything for it, but it was definitely not so bad that it was distracting or anything. It's just, it was just that kind of movie. The actors they have for those kind of movies, that quality of acting definitely wasn't terrible. So definitely rate Mortal Kombat. Wicked, like the costume and the settings and everything was really good. Great fight scenes, great special effects and all that. So pretty cool. Check that one out. I definitely rate the latest Mortal Kombat movie. As I said, I'm not feeling great, so I'm going to wrap this up. Go a bit of a lie down, little kip. I doubt I'll have a kip, but I might go try and have a little bit of a lie down on the couch and see how I come good. But before I go, please, I'm just going to throw this out each episode now so people know what I want, and as in the way of help. If you enjoy these podcasts, could you please subscribe to the YouTube channel, help get the numbers up and the views up over there. Share this podcast, it'll go out on Facebook, share it over your Facebook. Recommend it to other people. They can come on my Instagram page, follow me there. They can find this everywhere on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Anywhere they want to watch it, they can go on and check it out themselves as well. Get some new viewers, and yeah, just tell people about it, like it, share it. Yeah, just a big shout out to Robbie, me boy Robbie, who that's what I call my son, my mate Robbie, who he did exactly that after the last episode where I asked for it, went and shared the episode and told a couple of people about it. I got a couple of new follows through him last week. So if everyone does that each time, you get one or two people, checking out the Instagram and following on there, and then liking the podcast or subscribing to the YouTube. This thing will just start building, and more people that do that, the more it builds. So that's what we want. Appreciate you help with it. As you know, so far I need to do my bit and be more consistent with it. That's for damn sure. Get some more guests on here, but yeah, I'm working on it. So in the meantime, yeah, if you could help me out, just shout it out to other people you know, and then you know, I'm confident that I'm going to stick with this thing, and then it'll get some legs eventually. We'll build this right up, and it'll be cool to be some of the people who are the first people watching it as it built up, and so that's what I want, to help build a little community back and forth between you guys and myself. So thanks for listening. Thanks for your time. Give us a shout out. Give us a subscribe, a like, all that sort of stuff. And yeah, I want to go have a bit of a kip, lie down, and hopefully I feel better soon. And I'll see you all next week. All right, take it easy. Peace.